Joining us to discuss a little bit more on this settlement is British royals expert Hillary Fordwich. Thank you so much for being with us. So what is complicated is that, we know that the settlement is happening, but we still don't know really what happened. Is this just an attempt to make all of this sordid saga go away?
Well, Adrienne, pleasure to be back with you, and you're absolutely right. With the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, this is something that the royal family, of course, would not want. It's an absolutely ghastly situation. Though Prince Andrew will retain, at the moment anyway, his dukedom, but Rachel Maskell, she's the MP from York, the Labour MP for Central York, and as she has said, this is a disrespect to the entire city. So even his dukedom may go away. It's interesting to note that all of his royal patronages, all of the charities he was associated with, all 200, not one of them has even wanted to be associated with him. So yes, this is the royal family wanting this to go away during the Platinum Jubilee. The next time that he will be seen, though, with the royal family, at the moment at least, is purported to be March 29th, and that's the Thanksgiving memorial service and service of remembrance at Westminster Abbey for Prince Philip, his father and the Queen's beloved husband. Things have changed. We've also seen that, of course, Camilla was not going to be the Queen consort. She was going to remain a princess consort, and things have changed. So over time, depending on public reaction, things might move and things might change.
Let's talk a little bit about public reaction. The British press notorious for taking these stories and running with them. We'll just say that. Do you think that there is any compassion for the Queen at this time? I mean, clearly she's not going to disown her son.
No, she won't. And she's, very motherly. And no, I would say, and when you talk about the tabloid press, even the broadsheets, that there has been no real criticism of the Queen. The only real criticism when you ask about British public opinion that you are seeing in the papers are questions regarding where exactly is this funding? Where exactly is this settlement coming from? Because, of course, it basically all is taxpayer money. And, of course, the Duchy of Lancaster is the Queen's, in quotes, private funds. But where has all that funding come from? That has eventually come from the taxpayer. Prince Andrew himself does not have many assets. He has liquidated his asset in terms of his ski chalet in Verbier in Switzerland. But from that, the proceeds are only going to be something like a few million. And also, he only lives in a leased property, and he will remain there in Windsor grounds in Royal Lodge, but he no longer owns actual property. He has, of course, previously received £250,000, which is over $300,000 from the Queen in terms of his annual stipend, but that was ceased in 2019 after that disastrous car crash interview with Emily Maitlis of the BBC. So what does he really have? He doesn't have many assets. He doesn't have property in his own name. He really should not have gone out and bought that $255 million new Bentley that he was seen driving around Windsor Castle.
How much?
Recently. £255 million it was purported to have been. So he should not have been driving around in that. I think one of the people that said one of the wisest things most recently was his former royal commander from the Navy. And as he said, as a gentleman and as an officer, he's been ill-advised by the wrong kind of people and people that weren't the right kind of friends for him, obviously. But he said he leads a very privileged life and he should now lead a private life. So overall, I would say to you that there is not public appetite for him to be seen in public, and it's highly doubtful we'll see him at all during the Platinum Jubilee.
Well,
the public has no appetite for that.
Hopefully he gets the right allies and friends around him for the rest of his days. All right, Hillary Fordwich, thank you so much for being with us.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.